beautiful in that, I'm sure you'll know.
This one was really bad. No, this, I think this is that pencil, so I need to stay.
Warren, those came from Noise.
Where are they from, Jane?
Ike Smith,
Oh, okay.
and it's very valuable.
And who's the pictures of?
Well, you have to read.
It tells on that
It does?
story there.
Okay. Well, I just thought maybe if you told me I could get it on film while you were telling me.
Okay, fine, I'll see what this says. These are the bleachers portrait will be on display at our March 12th reunion. Oh, Bradford Noyes, William Noyes, and Franklin Noyes. But I don't see three men there.
Well, maybe one's a youngster. Are they 4 women and 2 men, isn't it?
It looks like from Bradford Noyes came the Hansfords, Ruby, Brooks, and Palmers. William Noyes came the Chiltons, and the Venable family came from Franklin Noyes. The 4 women in the painting are Cynthia Noyes, Ellen Noyes, Roxalana Noyes, and Jane Noyes.
That's a lot of noise, isn't it?
Sure is. Cynthia Noyes produced Enos Arnold, who was kin to the Hardys, both Frank and Cecil, as well as the Dana family. From Ellen Noyes came the Burdettes and Burlews, and from Roxalana Noyes came the Isaac Noyes Smith family. Benjamin Harrison Smith was her husband, and the Giltman and Stoughton families were connected by marriage. Caroline Quarrier and Isaac Noyes Smith. That doesn't look like that. That looks like Jeff Brown.
Well, you certainly have a wonderful group of things out there.
But your John did an awful lot of it. He brought all of this about the Malden Church, which is so interesting. And then he brought that down, and he's been following through on everything to see that it got in. He brought one of these, I don't know which.
Well, this one, that was in the South Hills paper, that one.
Uh-huh.
But I think this is wonderful.
I haven't read it, have you?
I haven't read it either, I didn't have a chance, but
We don't.
it's a wonderful picture.
Yeah, isn't it a great picture? Let's see what it says.
Is that Shirley? I believe that's Shirley, yeah.
There'll be a long line going down to eat, and it'll take a while, so she'll be on time.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Johnny's, he's coming later too. He's in the symphony. Yeah,
Yeah.
On your way up to get a piece of cake. Grace for the dinner music. That was a rehearsal for tomorrow. The 3 o'clock service. Be there. You know our honored guests that will be reminiscing with us in a few moments. But first we want to give special thanks and a lot of recognition to the 175th Anniversary Committee who worked so hard to get this all together and on time and here tonight. You probably know who they are. Betsy Barber, Ann Carroll, Grace Hudson. The 3 of them did an immeasurable amount of work in areas too numerous to mention. Suffice it to say, we are indebted to them. So that was where the applause was coming, but that's okay. Also, for the people who were co-opted by those people in charge of special duties, Elisa and Ted Teodoro in charge of catering, Shirley Strawn in charge of publicity, and she was in the paper today, of course. Jane Hovey and Franklin Johnston in charge of the historical display in the next room. Jane Hutchison and Shirley Strawn, A. Tall, and a lot of people, of course, in charge of the reception that we enjoyed earlier. Chuck Frosting in charge of the sound system and official photographer. Kathy Gilpin in charge of getting the booklet together with help from other typists and put-it-togethers and so forth. John Campbell Sr., who did a tremendous amount of research through our history getting ready for this. Betty Jane and Jack Sears, as we mentioned, who donated the cake for the evening. And special thanks to everyone who brought items for the historical display, and to Brenda Whittington and her crew from Rose City Cafeteria from South Charleston for the splendid buffet. And our cameraman from Channel 13 back there. And yes, I do look younger in person. There too, yes. That's a fat picture. Now, without further ado, we'd like to welcome our guest speakers, and beginning with Mary Louise Merrill, who will reminisce with us about Dr. Rule Hampton Merrill's ministry here at Kanawha Church. Mary Louise.
Right. Is that about right? Okay. Good evening. Rule Hampton Merrill. Oh, that sounds so loud. I don't think I heard something. Was born in Great Meadows, New Jersey, to John Merrill and Amarantha Van Fleet. His father was a carpenter, and my son John has a little desk that his grandfather made for him, his great-grandfather. He received a scholarship to attend Wyoming Seminary in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, where he was valedictorian of his class. This school is still in operation. He received an appointment to West Point but could not pass the physical examination because of hearing loss in one ear. He attended Rutgers University and then on to Center College in Danville, Kentucky, where he was on an undefeated, famous football team. And he loved football the rest of his life. He received his ministerial degree from Auburn Seminary, which later joined Union Theological Seminary in New York City. He served the church in Binghamton, New York, before coming to Kanawha Church in 1898. He was an attractive bachelor, and Miss Sadie Barber said that he taught the ladies of all the single ladies in the church. He and her father had a bicycle trip to Europe and remained close friends even after that. He was also a great friend of another church member, Dr. W.A. McMillan, and is the father of Dr. Owen McMillan, Harvey McMillan, and Osmer, and the great-grandfather of Andrew, a Baptist minister whom we helped support in Columbia, South America. He did not live in the manse, but boarded with the family on Dunbar Street, around the corner from the manse. In the meantime, Florence Sutton Stanton, the widow of Will Stanton, moved into the manse with her 5 children. She wanted to be near her in-laws, Dr. and Mrs. John Marshall Stanton, who lived next door. Miss Sadie said there was a lot of whispering in the church about the Reverend Merrill courting the widow Stanton. She was a little girl. They were married in 1908, and on their honeymoon, he cautioned her not to mention her 5 children to the friends and family at Great Meadows. However, he was so proud of his ready-made family, he could hardly contain his elation. They moved to Pittsburgh, where he was pastor of a church in Crackton. Bill and Leah McMorran came to us from that church. John Merrill, my husband, was born there, also a baby girl who died at birth. He was awarded a Doctor of Divinity degree from Grove City, Pennsylvania College, the alma mater of Maureen and Will Thomas. The family returned to Charleston in 1919, and while he pastored here, I think, for 2 more years, but he was very popular as a speaker at clubs and churches. He was giving the memorial service for President Harding in 1928 when lightning struck the big marble ball on top of the church, and that was quite a flood. I mean, it really put a finish to the service. He was an avid reader and remained a student until his death in 42. He tutored many young people, and here is a picture of him reading to one of our present session members. He was tutoring this one. This is John. He loved gardening, both flower and vegetable, and his asparagus and corn were really something special. He and John raised chickens every year in the basement in brooder cages until they were old enough to go out into the chicken pen. We always had fresh eggs to share. Since I had not known him until I began going with John, I have asked his beloved grandson, Lyle Clay, to share a few reminiscences, which I will read. Never had tobacco, so tobacco he did beg. A second old geezer, sly as a fox, always had tobacco in his old tobacco box. Said the first old geezer, give me a chew. Said the second old geezer, I'll be darned if I do. Save up your pennies, and you'll always have the roof, and you will have tobacco in your old tobacco box. It was so like him. I'll let them even it, a bit of his tongue fluid.
Now, Dr. Franklin Johnson, with remembrances of Dr. Warren Sage Stone's time with us. Franklin.
I think most of you know that I was married into the Stone family in the 30s. So that's the reason I asked to give you some remembrances. Among the memorabilia of the Stone family, I found a little piece written by Dr. Stone after he retired. retired at 43. It goes on from generation to generation. Traces the Stone family from England to Kanawha Church. I thought you might be interested. In order to do this, we're going to fast the verse to 1585, when a child named Simon was born in the Stone family. This was the Elizabethan era. Fast forward, 1611. Anyone knows what happened in 1611? King James Version of the Bible. Fast forward to 1635. Simon is now 50 years old. He has a wife and 5 children. The oldest is 16 and the youngest is 8 months. They're Puritans and are dissatisfied with the English church. They set off for the New World from London to Boston. It only takes 11 weeks from the North Atlantic War I. He was lost over the enemy lines, maybe by the Red Baron. We don't know for sure. But Warren, who's the subject of our discussion here, was born in 1876. As I say, he went to Hamilton College. He was a pitcher on the baseball team, a halfback on the football team, and went there 4 years, and then he studied a year as teaching rhetoric, then to Auburn Theological Seminary, just as Dr. Merrill had done. When he finished Auburn, he spent a summer as a sky pilot in the West. The West was pretty wild and woolly in those days. And this is one of the things that the young seminarians did. My father did this too when he got out of Yale Law School. Yale, excuse me, heaven forbid. He went out to Goldview, Montana, which is a mining town. He was out there. Of course, all locomotion was on horseback. There were Indian camps around, Native American camps around, and ranches. And he said that the sanctuary on Sunday was the dance hall on Saturday night. Just a big room in a log cabin with seats around, with benches around. As far as I know, she was the only woman he was ever interested in. The day they were in the first grade there in Mexico, New York. His first parish was in Beloit, New York, which is a suburb of Rochester, more or less like St. Albans and Charleston. He was there from 1903 to 1911. All his 3 daughters were born there. Then he went to First Church in Rochester, New York, and was there from 1911 until 1926 when he came down here. He was having trouble with his speaking voice, and his doctors suggested he go south. So I guess this is about far south as you can get to still stay in the Northern Presbyterian Church. Anyway, he came down here and having trouble with his voice at all in Kanawha Valley. As I say, it was ministered at First Church from 1911 to 1926. And if you look at the pictures in the other room, the picture of the First Church up there looks very much like the Hall Church. Built on that same Scottish architecture that our church has. Because the manse wasn't ready when they came here, the family attended Wells College, Aurora, New York, which is on Lake Cayuga, just north of Cornell University. These were pretty turbulent times during his ministry. The Roaring 20s, the stock market crash, the Great Depression, the socialization of the FDR era, and World War II. So there was no lack of sermon topics from that late time in that area. The congregation, as I said, the history of the building went from 1829 to 1950 when it was taken down to this building here. It stood right here. It was about 10 feet back from the sidewalk on Kanawha Street. It was a huge building. It had a big foyer and 3 living rooms. There was a big parlor, and a sitting room, and a living room, and a big dining room, butler's pantry, and a big kitchen all on the first floor. On the second floor, there were 6 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. It was a big house. But as soon as the Stones moved in, Mrs. Stone immediately began using the house. Let's see. Elizabeth, my wife, taught 7th grade English at Roosevelt Junior High School from 27 to when we were married. She had such distinguished students as Warren Point and Elizabeth Haldane, and the late John Slack, the late Elmer Dodson, and Mary Lee Settle. It was the days when they had the Charleston School District, not the county district. Charlotte, right out of college, went to Tehran for a year and taught school. And let's see, they were all here, and the war broke out. Decided that the girls would stay here and the children would stay here. So they all lived in the manse. I was Elizabeth and I had been married, and we had a couple of children. So at one time there were the senior parents and the 3 girls and 5 children and me. It was a pretty lively household around 1939 to 1941. One of the things about Dr. Stone was he wasn't formal, but nobody called him Warren except his wife, and maybe his golfing partner. I was never out in the golf course, so I didn't know. He was always Dr. Stone. The idea of first name familiarity with the minister didn't come in until about 1950 or something. Well, in retirement, he retired at 65 and went back to his home in Mexico, New York. The family still owned the old homestead that had been built in 1850. He lived there for 20 years. He sang in the choir at the church. He was church treasurer for 13 years. He played golf, and he counseled the young seminarians who more or less went through the church. There were 3 or 4 young seminarians, their first pastor when he was there. Offered his counsel only when it was asked for. He died in 1963 at the age of 87. His wife had predeceased him by a couple of years. On the epilogue, remember I mentioned Alan Layton Jr.? Well, he and Charlotte, second daughter, had gotten acquainted in the early 30s, but they both went their separate ways and had their separate families. But then in 1992, they found themselves alone, and they got married in their middle 80s, and now live in Boston, New York, Boston, Massachusetts. Jack was a mechanical engineer at DuPont. He worked for Edmund the land for a while with Polaroid, and for the R.P. Lowell company up there. He invented a thing I can tell you.
Bernie E. Vanderbeek, who loved it here so much he came back a second time. Bernie.
The third time.
Sure is good to see you, buddy. Golly, it's good to see you. Grace, thank you so much for the boutonniere for her. But the baby's breath doesn't quite match my own. Do you mind if I take it off? No. A banquet not too long ago at some conservationists, and the speaker was one of these nature boys, and he stood up to speak, and he reached and took the boutonnieres off, and he ate them all. Sure is good to hear you, Franklin. The manse that he was talking about was really quite a structure. You gave a good floor description of it. When we arrived, and the arrival was not very auspicious. Our daughter, Sally, who was then about 8 years old, and I had driven all the way from Chicago here, and one day, the Hagermans took care of us at night. We came over to the old manse the next day and began to get it ready for the coming of Jen and our 3 boys. Randy, who is now a urologist and surgeon in Asheville, North Carolina. He was 11 years old. And 2 other boys, Don, who was, I think, only months old at the time, was 2.5 weeks. And of course, and he is a freelance commercial artist in Dayton, Ohio. Larry was 18 months, and he is now an internal auditor for the Meat Corporation, also in Dayton, Ohio. Sally is the 8-year-old, is now a pilot and is vice president of an airline company in Marietta, Georgia. So they were spread around. Anyway, they arrived. Sally and I got the house ready. The furniture had arrived, and the spacious, almost cavernous rooms in that building, you can't imagine. We came with 2 9.5 rugs, 9.5-foot rugs. We put them in one room. All of the rooms, we put them in one room. And the few little pieces of furniture we spread around the edge. All of the other rooms were vacant, absolutely vacant. Except for one room in which the children roller skated, and that's the ballroom. But it was a house for a history buff, it was tremendous. Because it was rumored, and we heard this, of course, from Gene Brown, no less than Gene Brown, who knew the history, said that the house had been, during the Civil War, a hospital for a while. It had also been the home of a governor for a while. It had also, the most intriguing part of it was the basement. Remember the basement there? It was no basement, really. Just a series of channels cut in the clay. At the far end, at the south end, was one large room, which we were told, in all probability, was part of the underground, in which there were many slaves had been ferried across the river, and that room had become part of the underground. which the slaves then were sent on north from here. So it is a place of a tremendous history for a buff like myself. It was fascinating. Well, I didn't tell you about the arrival then of Jen, and of course I was supposed to meet them at the airport. They were flying in from Chicago a couple of days later. I was supposed to meet them, but somehow the time hadn't jived just right. So she was sweating it out up in that little Quonset hut, up at the terminal, the airline terminal, full of flies, and the two little, one of the children had become, Larry had become seasick, or plane sick, and she was grubbing around in the dirt and among the cigarette butts on the floor of the front of them. And Jen arrived and didn't know a soul here. She'd never been here before. She called up Dr. Point, who was the chairman of the pulpit committee, and he was not in, but the nurse knew all about it, so she got Mr. Hagerman, who was then the president of the gas company here, who then sent somebody over and picked Jen up at the airport and brought her to the house, much to my surprise and much to my chagrin. We finally got settled, and not long after, well, about a year after we were here, a fifth child arrived, Nancy, who is now teaches middle school art in Athens, Georgia. One day, not too long after that, Dr. Owen McMillan stopped in, and he said, "I've got a little gift for you." Well, I said, "I appreciate that." And he said, "You handed it to me." He said, "You know what that is?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks like a whale." He said, "Look at it carefully." He says, "That is a sperm whale." It was very effective. She was the last child. Of course, we went looking for a doctor, and of course, Dr. Dan Barber was recommended. I went to see Dr. Dan if we could come as patients of his, and he said, "I'll tell you what, on one condition. I will do everything I can to keep you out of heaven, and if you'll do everything you can to keep me out of hell." By the way, right near his office was the Reformed Synagogue, if some of you recall. What was his? Volkman was the rabbi. And then Dr. Vick was the pastor at First Church, and Vanderbeek at Kanawha Church. Three P's. Some wag in the congregation who will remain anonymous said that the three Virginia Street virtues. But it wasn't long before noises were made about getting rid of the old Sunday school room. It was really a tremendous building. It was one large room, an assembly room, with a gallery around, divided into smaller rooms, but all facing the center of the auditorium. To one side on the first floor, the difficulties we had, of course, in the downtown church was that occasionally I would go down often to the Rose City Press to get supplies for the office or whatever, and I would meet some of these tragic individuals, the winos along the street. And it's amazing how some people can take your weapon and turn it on you. I met this wino. Warren Hudson knows the story well. This wino came up to me and said, "Will you please give me 29 cents? And I was curious to know why the 29 cents. He said, "That's all I need to get myself a lot of wine." And I said, "Well, have you had something to eat recently? No, I said, my stomach is way off. I can't stand to eat anything. I said, well, my doctor's right down the street or in Virginia Street, and I'll take you over to him, and I'm sure he'll give you a good examination and find out what your trouble is. No, I said, I don't need any doctor. All I need is a bottle of wine. And finally he said to me, are you going to give me the 29 cents? And I said, by in all conscience, I can't give it to you. So he turned on me and he said, I'll pray for you, Bob. This was after the union of the congregation. The session provided me with a fund that I could use to help people that came to the door asking for funds for help and so on. One old fellow used to come very regularly. He was a little, didn't have both oars in the water, so they say. But a delightful old fellow, just the same. For the pittance that he got from the government was scarcely enough to keep him going, but he found that he could milk me further than so long. And I remember he came in one time and he said, I've got a little mine behind my house where I get my coal. He said, I know it's against the law because I'm not supposed to mine myself. But he said, I've got a little mine, and so I go in there and take my coal. But the coal face has to be broken up. I can't do that with what I've got. I need some dynamite. So I said, well, do you know where you get some dynamite? He said, oh, yes. I said, you know how to handle it? Oh, yes. My father and my brothers, we did a lot of mining, and I know how to handle it. So he said, I said, where can you get it? Well, he said, if you take me up Sheridan Way, I think it was, up one of the hollows, and there they sell dynamite. So I got him in the car and took him over there. So he said, I said, well, how much is it going to cost? And he said, oh, it'll be around $20. Well, I began to wonder already, but I needed to back off now, so I gave him $20. So he went up to this little hut and came out with a box of dynamite. The caps in that little box in his other hand. That's the way he came out to the car. Well, of course, there's nothing to do but to put him in the car. But we had to cross the bridge on the way, and all of a sudden I had tremendous walk. I could see this whole bridge and all, up in a big mushroom cloud. Well, we managed to get across, and finally I dumped him over the other side, and I saw him heading out into the brush with the dynamite under one arm and a little box of caps in the other, and I hoped that they would never get together. But the fact that I never heard from him again, I suppose. The significant thing that happened then, of course, was the union of the two congregations. And the reason that we changed the name to Kanawha United Presbyterian Church was, first of all, this was the union of two congregations to form one new congregation. So this was the name of a new congregation. This was not the snake and the frog union, where the snake says to the frog, let's unite. This was a case of where there were two valid, viable congregations uniting under the common name of Kanawha United Presbyterian. I think another little significant thing about our union with the Schwam Church was, the union brought us, of course, into the Synod of West Virginia, which finally united with the Synod of Pennsylvania to become the Synod of the Trinity, which the church now is part of the Synod of the Trinity. And Dr. Elser, who was an elder in this church, was the first moderator of that new synod, which I think is about the largest in the denomination. Since I see Carter over there. Carter and I were delegates to the synod Pennsylvania, to help in bringing the two synods together. I think it's John Strock who sent in the names of the delegates. Carter's name was sent in simply as Carter Gilsman. And Bernie Vanderbeek. When getting to the registration desk up in Harrison, Pennsylvania, I said, gave my name and so forth. And the woman gave me a second look. Suddenly there was a hasty conversation behind. And then it turns out that Carter and I were assigned to the same room. Just one story I got to tell before I leave. This is one from, this didn't happen here at all. This is one of John DeVere's favorite stories. It's a golfing story, about this amateur golfer who had knocked his ball off into the rough on an anthill. And he stood over the ball, recited all of the incantations of the game, such as keep your eye on the ball, skip left or left arm, lead with your left arm, all of those incantations. So he took one swing at the ball, missed the ball, and he took a corner off the anthill and killed about 100 ants. So he took a second swing. Again, reciting the incantations of the game, he took a swing a second time, missed the ball again, took off another corner of the anthill and killed another 200 ants. And as he was ready to try a third time, he heard one ant say to the other, "If we want to save our lives, we better get on the ball."
George H. Jackson served Kanawha Church from 1959 to 1965. He officiated at the wedding, among others, I'm sure, of Anne and Ben Carroll. This is a picture in the next room to verify that. He sent the following note to you. We remember our 6+ years in Charleston with gratitude. It was a time of personal and professional growth for me, and I shall always be grateful for the patience and understanding of the session and congregation. Most of all, Marge and I will never forget the surrounding love and support when our daughter Sharon Denise died the night I was installed as pastor, September 9, 1959. The truth of the Apostle Paul's words to the Romans 8:28. We know that in everything God works for good to those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. It became real for us in the months and years to follow. But we shall always be indebted to the wonderful friends of Kanawha Church and Charleston for their outpouring of love and strength. 11 months later, August 10, 1960, Catherine Louise was born. She is now nearly 6 feet tall and has run the Chicago Marathon 2 years in a row. Debbie will reminisce about Niall's ministry with us here tonight.
How many of you have ever served on a pulpit searching committee? Would you kindly face this way a little bit? Just twist around and face this way. And then the rest of the people do the same thing. And reach out your arms. And give that person a nice tap. Doesn't that feel good? Aren't we taking care of each other? And isn't that what this church is all about? It feels so good. It's so good. This church is such a friendly church. We moved here just when our son had 2 years into the service, and our daughter had recently got married. And empty nest syndrome was just entering its ugly head into our home. The congregation became our family. You shared with us all of your sadness, but you also let us help you celebrate all of the happy times. And for that, we will always be grateful. Well, the Kanawha Search Committee came to visit us in the summer of '74. Now, most committees do everything kind of secretively, so we were in Martins Ferry at the time, and of course they didn't want the congregation up there to know what these strangers were doing in the congregation, so they would sit separately and spread around and meet us for lunch after the service. Well, a nice quiet place where we can talk. So I thought, Ogilvy Park, way out of the way, big place, we can have a talk at a nice little table. Unfortunately, somebody in Martins Ferry was celebrating a 90th birthday, and all of our congregation was there. We had absolutely no privacy. Well, the next group came along, and this time they asked for another quiet talk. And so we thought, the lobby of the Holiday Inn that was down the road quite a way, that this would work quite well. Well, it was a small lobby. Unbeknownst to us, there was this new risque band that was coming, a very popular risque band. And Niles, the gentleman that he was 6'2", insisted that the ladies sat down in the small seating area. I think it was raining that night, so he also acted as a doorman. Now, I don't know who was more surprised, the ladies that were sitting down or the people that were coming in and being recognized by name by their pastor, or me. Because the voices coming out and the melody and the refrain that was wafting out to us was a feuding, fighting, and another four-letter word. We had to put up with that for quite some time. July came, and we came to candidate. Well, you housed us in the Charleston house. And while Niles studied, I went out for a walk, a solo walk. And I would walk up the street and turn around and look at the movie house and look at the flowers in the flower shop next door and come back again. Well, now all of these visits, everybody has asked us. Usually they separate the pastor and the wife and the kids and ask us all kinds of different questions. So the lovely lunch, and after Niles preached, I think we were having lunch at the country club. And I sat next to a distinguished gentleman and leaned over and said, "Does Charleston have a drug problem?" And he looked at me, "Why do you ask?" And I said, "I stepped over so many people on my walk last night. I was introduced to Summer Street all by myself." Before furniture arrived, Ann and I came to do the usual things that you have to do to a new house, measure and all those kinds of things. We had worked quite hard, and we went to some sandwich shop, lost my way back home. We rode around the South Hills for quite some time, stopped back at the sandwich shop and said, "Could you please help me home? Where do you live?" "I don't know." But they followed us home and led us back to where we were. Well, Ann and I had really worked hard. It was a grueling overnighter that we spent, slept on the floor, and got back in the car to go home. Well, we drove down. We were still in the city limits, and I looked at her. She looked at me, and I thought, must be a hot flash. "Ann, would you help me off with my raincoat? It's awful hot." I'm still driving down there, taking off the coat. Didn't help a thing, and I have to get out of this. Throw it in the back seat. Wade through it in the back seat. It didn't help at all. Open the windows. Phew, it was worse. Welcome to Chemical City. We had quite a time. I had asked for the church directory when it came, because I was having a hard time hearing your West Virginia twang. I couldn't quite get the names. And so I went home and my first names. Nothing else. It was terrible. I just had an awful time. Niles was very impressed with how hard you all worked for the Schwam and Kanawha merge. He also was very impressed with your intellect and your professionalism, and he enjoyed working with you. I'm ever so grateful that you allowed me to teach in the Sunday school. I have treasured moments with your children, and I'm very proud of them. Most of the children are now married, back with their families. It's wonderful to see your glowing faces. You have helped me to grow, and I'm better equipped to handle the changes that are happening in my life daily. Statistically, numbers of members of the churches have gone down from the 70s in most places. But you're still here, even with Big Brother nibbling at your heels. And I'm very proud of that. You're taking risks, you're hiring new people, and that's how you grow. I'm so proud to look at all your faces. The young people that Niles was so proud of and worked well with. He enjoyed working with all of you. I have enjoyed working with all of you. And thank you for my lifestyle.
I'm so pleased Althea feels comfortable coming back. And when we first got here, we visited them at their home in Marietta with the choir and got chatting, and she wondered about coming back anytime. And so she's been back and singing in the choir, and it's been real enjoyable. I'm glad she feels comfortable doing that. Finally, yours truly, the new kid on the block, who probably was waiting for tonight, maybe more than you all, just to hear all this good stuff, history, and what has happened almost for 100 years. You realize we're talking, people are here talking about things that happened 100 years ago, at least, and they're in this room. It's exciting. I've been here since 1988. It's been a time of change, a time of new direction, and visioning for the future. We have revised the worship service according to the requests of the congregation and have implemented these changes by having various orders of worship. Someone said there's something different every Sunday so we don't go to sleep. Exactly. And now we include a member of the congregation in all of our morning worship services. Tomorrow, of course, a little different. We'll be including the people you've heard tonight in the worship service. We've seen the young children of the church increase from 1 coming up front for the children's sermon to 20 or more on Sunday when everybody's in town and in church. This has been a real significant change for our church. Along with this increase has been the increase of families with children coming and joining the church that caused this to happen. The new direction and future looking, as we've begun to call it, that I mentioned earlier, has included a special and lengthy self-study by the session on the future of the church. The most recent upshot of this future planning was the session retreat that we had last Saturday on the new direction of stewardship emphasis that we'll be implementing very soon. Of course, the most recent and visible change of our church was the hiring of Rick Spriggs and the entering into the partnership with Young Life. This partnership is mainly a mission outreach program that our church goes into the community with Rick, particularly to the youth of the community and in the high schools, particularly Capitol High, though he goes to George Washington. Rick is also working with our junior, senior high youth students in the Sunday school and youth group, and you know the article they had today did justice even to that program, which I was pleased to see for the community to note. The Sunday school and the youth group have grown immensely even in 1 month. So stay tuned for continued change. We are in the midst of receiving money to fund this combination Young Life project and deferred maintenance projects that we've been deferring for years. We need to do something this year particularly, so we're still looking for contributions to that fund. We were going to have an update tonight, but we don't have it, so maybe we'll have it tomorrow. Finally, let me say in conclusion, we're pleased to be able to celebrate with all of you on this most auspicious, most memorable occasion. Please be here tomorrow with our worship service at 11 o'clock in the morning and at 3:15, and note 3:15 because that's when everything happens. 6 choirs combined at 3:15 tomorrow, 3 from here, 3 from First Church, our children's choirs, our adult choir, and our bell choir will combine. The early part of it at 3:15 will be the children's one, right, Grace?
Bells and children.
Bells and children at 3:15. So don't wait till 3:30 to miss all the good stuff. So come at 3 if you can, get a place up front. I'll be there for our combined service tomorrow with First Church. That will be the real service. The rest of it is okay, but that'll be exciting. Y'all know what these are? Their calendars. The women's group has made a project. There's some up here. Dot. Arthur will take care of it. Following the program. Inside your program, on the program page, there are the words to our closing hymn. Now, if you please stand for the closing hymn as printed on the program page. God be with you till we meet again. Following the singing, we'll close with benediction.